Hey guys, let's talk about a case here in North Carolina, a young girl who's missing, and the intersection of that with Caylee Anthony and the law passed in her memory and her name. So Madalina Cojocari lived near Charlotte, North Carolina, a town called Cornelius, and she's been missing since November of last year. Her parents are in jail right now. So we'll go over what the timeline was for Madalina, what's going on with it, and why her parents are in jail if nobody knows what happened, and how this intersects with Kaylee and what's going on in the community there. So Madalina was last seen on a school bus getting off of it from any objective evidence on the 21st of November, 2022. Her mother later said, hey, I saw her last at 10 o'clock at night going into her bedroom to go to sleep on the 23rd of November. So she was seen getting off a school bus on the 21st. That's the last time she was seen outside the home. The 23rd, the mother says, is the last time she saw her. We don't know if that's true. Anyway, that's a Wednesday night. She says, I saw her go into her room at 10 o'clock, got into a fight with my husband. There had apparently been marital issues or whatever. So the next day or sometime that night or whatever, the husband allegedly takes off and drives to Michigan to get some items. And he's gone for 3 days. At 11:30 that morning, talking about the 24th of November, Diana says, I went in her room and checked and she wasn't in her room. So what does the mother do? Nothing. She doesn't call the husband, doesn't call the police, doesn't launch a search, nothing. She says her daughter does not have a phone and that her backpack and some clothes were missing. Okay. Now he comes back on the 26th and they each allegedly, according to their stories, ask the other, do you know where Madalina is? And they each say no. Do they do anything about that? They do not. They don't search for her. They don't call the police. They don't do anything for weeks. And they don't do anything until they're forced to, as you'll see in this timeline. Now, later on, when the stepfather talks to the police, he says, hey, you know, I hadn't seen Madalina for probably a week before I took off on this trip. She's getting off the school bus on that Monday afternoon, and she was in the house. You didn't see her for a week before you left? I don't think so. So anyway, while Madalina is missing, allegedly starting the 23rd or morning of the 24th, and the parents do nothing to try to find her, the school takes notice that she hasn't been there. They start trying to do something about it. Eventually, school resource officer and a counselor go to the home, and no one answers the door. I don't know if anybody was there or not, and they leave a truancy ticket. On the 14th of December, the school speaks with the mother, Diana, on a phone call, and Diana, according to the school, says, I'll come to school tomorrow, Thursday, the 15th, with Madalina, and we'll talk about this truancy. Great. That's going to be problem solved, right? Maybe she was sick or something like that. Who knows? Maybe they went on a vacation. The 15th comes, and she does go to the school, the mother, but without Madalina. And that's when she says to them, I don't know where she is. That's the first time she's reporting to authorities. She doesn't know where her daughter is. And she says she last saw her on the 23rd of November. So the school, of course, wants the police involved in this, and the police do get involved in it, and they speak with the mother about it. And she says that, I think my husband may have put our family in danger. There's no explanation really of what that means, but that she doesn't know where Madalina is. And she didn't want to report her missing because it would create contention with the husband. Now, interesting is the situation of someone else in the family saying that the mother had called her, in a period before the girl went missing, seeing if they could help smuggle her and the girl away from the husband. And there's some allegations of being involved with drug dealers and people maybe who could make that happen. So there's an interesting diversion to the case there that was going on in the background. But whatever, she's telling the police, I don't know where she is, and no explanation that's any good for why she didn't report that. So the police go to the home that day, the 15th, and visit with the stepfather and the mother, who, of course, continue with their stories of the not knowing. And they look in the girl's bedroom. They see in the kitchen in this house, which is something like 2,500 square feet, that part of it is blocked off by plywood. And they say, well, yeah, we're going to make a different, an apartment in there or something like that. Well, the police leave and they come back the same day, 7 o'clock, with a search warrant, right? So the police on the 15th hear about this mother saying, I don't know where my daughter is. And the same day, they're already executing search warrants to try and figure out what's going on, which is good, I think. So they search the home. They see certain items and do certain things. and they arrest the parents only a couple of days later on the 17th of December. And eventually the parents they're still in jail because their bond has been increased. So they're both sitting in jail, neither one of them cooperating with the police, and police say they're hindering the investigation. Another fact that's interesting is the neighbors say that in this time frame, they didn't think it was that suspicious when it happened, but between when she was reported to go missing, Madalina, and when the police made the arrest, that the parents were out in the backyard burning things like sofa cushions and other items from the house. Well, you're not supposed to do that. That's illegal in Mecklenburg County, and I think it's all across the state. And down in Mecklenburg County, like they do here, they have convenience centers where if you have some crap like that, you take it there and you throw it away. You're not supposed to burn it. You're especially not supposed to burn it when your house is like on a 0.2 acre lot and there's a wooden fence right next to it and grass everywhere, to have a blaze burning that's significant enough that apparently the neighbors called authorities. Now, when the fire department comes out there, in theory, they just attempt to educate and stop it from happening. They're not there to put people in jail over it. So I guess that didn't turn out to be a big deal at the time. But of course, police have been out there since the arrest, digging through this fire pit, taking things away. Pretty suspicious. And that's going to bring us to Kaylee's law. Pretty much everyone except those who believe law enforcement are always wrong and everything is a conspiracy. The eagle of innocence is what plants all the evidence that has all these innocent people in jail. Not that there aren't some, but not everything is a conspiracy. Pretty much everybody except those sorts of people followed along in horror at the story of Casey Anthony and her trail of ever-escalating, never-ending lies as she worked to conceal the disappearance of her daughter, Kaylee, and derail the investigation into Kaylee's disappearance. Now, in response to that, several states passed statutes termed Kaylee's Law. North Carolina is one of them. This statute provides that if a caregiver or parent knowingly or wantonly fails to report the disappearance of a child, and that means you don't know the location and you haven't had contact with a child within 24 hours, both of those. Okay, not that they're staying with their aunt or you know where they are or you're hiding them for this. Don't come with conspiracy theories. You don't know the location and you haven't contacted the child and you knowingly or wantonly fail to report that disappearance. That's a Class I felony, which is not that serious of a felony, but it's a felony. So what this statute does do is provide a tool for law enforcement to put some responsibility on parents who were working to conceal the disappearance of their own child. One thing that is awesome about this law here in North Carolina is that it was passed on a unanimous vote in the state House and Senate. Every member of every political stripe supported this law. It's pretty awesome, standing up for kids like that. And so now these parents who have concealed and lied about the disappearance of their daughter and continue to impede the search for Madalina instead of partying like Casey, they're cooling their heels in jail. Idaho could have used this law, of course. They had to conjure up some kind of child protective case and then order Lori Vallow to produce the children regarding the case, then issue an order of contempt and then arrest her. Haven't seen all the documents, but I think that's the convoluted process they had to go through to actually get anything on her early in the case. But at least they did do something about it. I guess the cases that steam me up the most are those where an innocent child is betrayed and harmed by the people in the world they should be able to trust the most. And then the worst of these people, they just keep living their lives like nothing was lost but a bag of trash. The total scum. Casey Anthony was a vapid, narcissistic, soulless monster who was the living embodiment of beauty being only skin deep. Lori Vallow, it appears, is an even more distilled, concentrated form of pure evil, whose selfish desires know no limits and masquerade under tortured readings of religious scripts and absolute fantasies, all designed to align with whatever she wants at the moment, at any cost to anyone else. There have been some horrific child murder cases in this state. I hope Madalina's case is not one. The smuggling angle, maybe that's a ray of light that she found her way back to family, but it doesn't look good. Either one or both of the parents are involved in what happened to her. If one were not, you'd think that person would work to help answer this mystery and hold the person or persons responsible who participated in her disappearance. That neither has done that and neither did anything other than cover up Madalina's disappearance suggests to me that they're both responsible. Today is Madalina's birthday. She's 12 years old. She was 11 when she disappeared. The Cornelius Police Department is making an effort to mark that and to have the community share the moment. It's pretty obvious that when they found out Madalina was in jeopardy, they acted quickly and to the limits of what they could do to find her. The roadblocks were the parents. But the detectives and officers are working this case, and with the parents in jail, they have time to do what the parents could do, and that is answer the question of what happened, and hopefully, where is she? No doubt efforts were made to make this hard to solve. The element of delay, the burning of household items, the travel, the lies, they're all tools to hide the truth in this case. But while we don't see much of what the police have and what they're pursuing, what we do see is a methodical approach. I think they will solve this. Of course, there can be investigative reasons to celebrate Madalina's birthday. You don't have to be particularly brilliant to see that. But you'd have to be a completely heartless cynic to fail to see there's more to it than that. And even I'm not that jaded. These officers and detectives are not just cashing a check. They feel for these victims. They think about them. They take those thoughts home with them at night. They want to help these victims. And if help is too late to bring justice, to show these children did matter. That's Madalina's case and the connection to Kaylee, and how the memory of Kaylee created a ripple for justice that we feel all the way here in North Carolina. Thanks. Bye.